What up, everybody? Raising Kanan Season 4, Episode 6. Lou was taking the death of Fame hard, and taking it extra hard because it was almost like he was reliving the death of D-Wiz over again also. Talking about how they all just end up being question marks, and who they could have been, and what they might have done. And seeing Jessica at Famous's repass, and bonding with her over Famous's death. Keeping in mind how Lou reacted last time he saw Jessica before going to rehab in episode 1. He didn't want anything to do with her, and seeing her only made his drinking that much worse. Keeping in mind after going to California, Lou found out that Jessica had been cheating on him with Crown. But between being sober now after going to rehab and the pain of Famous's death, Lou is now willing to put his guard down around Jessica and be vulnerable. After the repass, Lou went to an AA meeting where he said he would normally react to a situation like that by hitting the bottle hard and doing some bad shit he would have regretted for the rest of his life. But he says now he doesn't even know who he is. Then he went to check on Joyce, and if he wasn't going through enough, she called him fragile and sensitive, then asked him to do what she asked Marvin to do previously, to take her life and put her out of her misery. Then after getting into an argument with B. Rilla, Lou found himself at a bar staring at a glass of whiskey, and at his most vulnerable point, he reached out to Jessica. Then Lou and Jessica left the bar and went to the studio and hooked up. The next day, Lou was at the studio when Imani Okoye walked in and saw Jessica's necklace and knew Lou had hooked up with his ex, Jessica. And when Lou returned Jessica's necklace to her, she said that Famous's mom was moving out to LA with her and suggested that Lou should give it a thought also. So the big question is, did Lou get Jessica pregnant when they hooked up at the studio that night? Ultimately, the death of Famous bringing a new life into the Power universe, because there's a good chance if Famous wasn't dead, then Lou and Jessica would have never hooked up again. And if Lou did get Jessica pregnant and they have a child together, this character would be around 32 years old in 2025. And because we know both Kanan and Jukebox are dead on the current Power timeline, as well as Kanan's son Sean, and the fate of Marvin, Rock, and Lou is uncertain, this could potentially be the last remaining member of the Thomas family bloodline left alive. Something else to keep in mind is the fact that Jessica is out in LA and she was trying to get Lou to go to LA with her, to leave Queens behind and get a fresh start. If she's pregnant with Lou's child, that might be what could actually cause Lou to move to LA to be closer to his child. And this could potentially set up a West Coast Raising Kanan spinoff that runs concurrent with Power Origins. Because in real life, actor Malcolm Mays, who plays Lou Thomas, is originally from LA. A potential LA spinoff featuring Lou and Jessica could feature them in the music industry out in LA, inspired by the times during the 1990s when Death Row was at the top of the music industry. Keeping in mind that Raising Kanan is inspired by the times of 50 Cent's life based on growing up on the south side Jamaica, Queens. Keeping in mind 50 Cent later connects with Dr. Dre, co-founder of Death Row Records, when he blew up in the music industry. So because of that parallel, I definitely think a Lou Thomas spinoff based out in LA is a possibility if he survives. But just like there was a clue all the way from the beginning that Famous would eventually be killed, because the fact that Kanan named his son Sean after Famous's government name, which was Sean Figueroa. In Power, it shows Kanan wearing a couple different coats all the time, mainly in season 2. And Lou Thomas has been wearing those same 2 coats ever since Raising Kanan season 1. So it's believed that Lou was dead and Kanan wore those jackets in OG Power in honor of his Uncle Lou. So Lou might find out that Jessica's pregnant and begin to put his affairs in order, preparing to leave Queens behind to move out to LA. But right before getting on the plane to head for LA, Lou could get gunned down. In season 1, Jessica possibly even foreshadowed Lou's fate. Jessica was always trying to convince Lou to get out the life and leave Rock behind. At one point she told him that Rock was going to be dead or in prison and he was going to be right there with her. So what if Lou gets back into the life? Maybe he says just for one last time. Maybe it's to help out Rock with Unique. Or maybe she needs his help with one final move before he moves to LA. But whatever it could be what gets Rock arrested and Lou could end up being right there with her like it was foreshadowed by Jessica. There's also the fact that in episode 1, when Jessica went to talk to Lou, she asked him about Crown. And Lou played it off, saying one of his many enemies finally caught up with him. But Crown's murder kind of seemed to have been swept under the rug by the police. Keeping in mind Rock and Howard was trying to pin the season 2 operation on Crown. I think the cops would be thinking if they found out who killed Crown, that could give them more information about what was going on in season 2. So that might also be something that comes back to haunt Lou right as he's about to go to California. He could actually get arrested for Crown's murder. Kind of like right as Famous was about to blow up with his song 411, he got arrested for Freddie's murder. But another scenario of how Kanan could have received those codes with Lou still being alive and not going to prison is with Lou moving to LA. Lou doesn't even as much as pack a suitcase to go with him, saying he wants to start completely over and brand new when he gets to LA. That he doesn't want to take anything from the past and his old life with him to his new beginning in LA. And now I'm going to switch things up because I've always believed there was a possibility that Lou was Ghost's father because of all the clues and the parallels between these two characters. To cover the basics of this theory, basically Ghost would be about 12 years old right now in the current timeline. And Lou would find out that he has a long-lost son, kind of like a Mecha Zeke situation. Then Ghost's mom would run off, leaving Ghost for Lou to raise. And yes, that would make Jukebox, Kanan, and Ghost all cousins, but they still beefed anyway because Ghost sent Kanan to prison for 10 years. And Ghost's Uncle Gabe would be Marvin after changing his name, either after hiding from the Italian Mafia or going into WITSEC. Keeping in mind, Jukebox later changed her last name to Ganner before becoming a cop. But with all that said, it was once hinted by Courtney Kemp that Ghost had a brother. And there's been a lot of speculation about who this brother could be. But if Lou is Ghost's father, then this potential brother could be a half-brother whose mother is Jessica. And this brother could potentially be out in LA somewhere. But Lou didn't go out to LA with Jessica to be around his other child, possibly after finding out that Ghost was his son. And whether Ghost is Lou's son or not, a Thomas family member out in LA on the current power timeline could really shake things up, especially if heading to LA is either Tariq or Tommy's next move. And there you have it. Leave your thoughts, theories, and predictions in the comments.